Making my life simpler has been a multiple year journey. Started a few years ago with the big changes, and really it is still going onwards today. You know how we tend to create email accounts, profiles on social media, profiles to access this app and that app and this other app, and really you don't use these apps much at all, or if any at all, or you haven't used them in years. You have, an email associated with them, a password associated with them, maybe even private information on these apps that are readily available to anybody to see. You have social media accounts that you created years ago when you were trying to keep your personal account separate from what I'm going to call my YouTube identity. However, I failed to take into account the smartness of the whole internet and computers, because for some odd reason, with a simple Google search, me am somehow associated with my YouTube identity, regardless of separate emails, separate accounts, separate numbers, separate everything. Somehow, regardless, it's all linked and hooked together anyway. So rather than updating and maintaining and supervising and all that into multiple groups, multiple accounts, multiple apps, I have started to delete, remove, simplify, shut down, and just quit spending so much time digitally in the fake world, and try to reconnect, get back out into the real world. I know I used to spend hours maintaining my digital presence. It was a way for me to cope, a way for me to have a distraction from the bloodsuckers, the bank, the constant phone calls and emails and knocks on the door and stuff. However, now that a lot of that has gone away, I don't really need those distractions anymore. I don't need to be subscribed to so many channels on the video platform that I can never watch all that content in a day anymore. Unlike what I used to do, and to keep this content building on my channel, keep my watch later list, keeping that growing, hoping that I'm going to watch those videos someday. And yeah, there has been some days where I'm going through a bit of a rough stretch where those 200 or 300 videos in my watch later list do come in handy. I have cleared the list a couple of times. However, like I mentioned there, it takes a lot to maintain all of these accounts, all of these profiles, and such. And shutting things down is just keeping it a little more simpler. You know how social media sites tell your followers when your birthday is, and they wish you happy birthday and send you well wishes, send you all of this stuff. But really, for the other 364 days out of the year, they really don't care, or they really don't message you, or you really don't hear from them at all. And some of these people that I have added on my personal Facebook page, I haven't really talked to since I worked with them years ago. and some of them are even older than that, years before that, and some of them are coworkers or people that I've bumped into at restaurants that add me, send me a couple of messages, and then you don't hear from them really ever again. So I did a little experiment this year. I wrote down the names of the people who wished me happy birthday over the last few years. Then I went into my settings and I shut off and privatized when my birthday was, just to see how many people would actually remember that it was my birthday, and they weren't just following blindly a notification saying, "Hey, it's so and so's birthday. Wish him happy birthday today." And out of those people that in the past wished me happy birthday, there was only about 5 people that actually physically remembered to do it. So that pretty much tells me those other people that were doing it were just blindly following notifications. So I've gone through my friends list and I have removed not just those that did not wish me happy birthday, but those former coworkers that I've never talked to since the day they added me, or people that were once part of my life that no longer are and really don't really have a need to be following me on social media. They don't need to know where I am. They don't need to know that I've been here on my vacation, or they're on holidays, or they don't need to read my status of me feeling good and out at the park, or they don't need to have the laugh of the funny things that I post. Because in my mind, if I'm not good enough for them to be with, I'm not good enough to be in a relationship with them or part of their so-called family, then really, why should I allow them to essentially still follow me, essentially still be, to know what I'm doing, where I'm at, how I'm feeling, but yet not be part of their world. Really, social media and all this stuff is basically a giant ego trip. You post a fancy selfie picture of whatever, and then somebody one-ups you, and then somebody one-ups them, and then somebody one-ups them. So then, of course, you have to one-up all of them to get back, on top of your likes and shares and all that, because, if you don't have a social media presence that is glamorous and fake and looks like it's like totally awesome when really it's not, then you're nobody, right? So like I said, I have thinned things down, shut things down, and deleted some of my other YouTube channels that were time consuming. Just trying to simplify things, trying to get things a little more easier maintaining, turning on auto posting for certain things, so therefore I don't have to physically be by a computer to maintain things, and transferring over messaging to either a messaging assistant that does all this digitally for me, and then transfers it over to me when I need to answer whatever, or shutting off the messaging altogether. Sometimes we use things in our lives as a distraction, rather than sitting there in the doctor's office waiting for your name to be called, reading the paper or a magazine next to you. You're on your phone, rather than talking to your relatives or your cousins or the people that are around you. We are on our phone as a form of distraction. Instead of reading the ingredients on the shampoo bottle or the bathroom spray, we're on the phone, liking and posting and building our presence online. Many people lived the simple life before us, and they did quite well. Many people made a living living the simple life without building fancy homes, buying fancy vehicles, getting into crippling debt. And we, in our modern world, with all our so-called modern conveniences, should be able to do the same. But just a few thoughts on a few things that have been rattling around in this here brain. It kinda is what it is, and around we go. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's Vlogs. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.